Boys, we are back with another YouTube video. It's 2 in a week now, so I'm pretty proud of myself. But today I want to break down literally exactly what it is that I would do if I was in the position, 20 to 30% body fat, like the majority of the population is, and I wanted to get as lean as possible in, let's say, a 3 to maybe 6 month period. I think most guys can make a significant drop in fat in the 6 months. Realistically, you're probably going to get to your goal in 6 months, providing you're not morbidly obese. And at a shorter period of time, if you're someone who's just put on, an extra 20 kg of fat, you can come down to a good body weight in about 3 months. But this is just going to be a video on exactly what I would do, exactly what I'm currently doing, in fact, to get as lean as possible. So the first thing that I will focus on, and I'm focusing on this first because it's not even that important, but it's your training, right? You want to be in the gym. Having more muscle makes you, have a faster metabolism, makes your physique pop a bit more, and it's just going to make you feel good. It burns an extra bit of calories, but not that much. I'm just going to be strength training at least 3 days a week. I currently strength train 5 days a week, but I'm able to do that. I wouldn't recommend that to everyone. 3, maybe 4 days a week for the average person. I'll do like a full body split. Training with intensity to failure, not a ton of volume, and prioritizing the 4 muscle groups that have the biggest impact when it comes to building an attractive physique. Go check out my other video to know what those muscle groups are and how to train them specifically and why they're so important. So yeah, I would be training 3 to 4 days a week, maximum intensity, pushing heavy weight and not super high volume, somewhere between that 5 to 8 rep range. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is going to be down to cardio. Now, a lot of people think that cardio has to be running, these long stints of, cycling or swimming and things that are just going to get you tired and more hungry. I don't do any long or intense cardio. Never. I did in the past, but the cardio you want to be focusing on is zone 2 cardio. Now, that simply means cardio that doesn't elevate your heart rate so high that you're panting and out of breath. Zone 2 cardio should be conversational. And that basically means that you should be able to do it and have a conversation with someone. Think walking, right? Incline treadmill. Maybe if your cardio is somewhat decent, you can do things like cycling. You can do Stairmaster. Nothing that's going to have you panting and out of breath. Now, the reason you want to focus on that cardio when you're trying to get lean is 2 major reasons. The first reason is because around 60% of the calories burned in that cardio are going to come directly from fat storage. So getting lean is literally just going to be so much easier. You're going to shred through fat if you're having around that 10 to 20k steps a day, which is about an hour and a half of consistent zone 2 cardio. Now, many people are like, oh, it's so hard to get your steps in. Just walk to the gym, go on a walk at your lunchtime at work. Maybe you have to wake up an hour earlier and just go for a walk around your area. It's super easy to get in, and you're not having to train 6 days a week. So you can literally replace going to the gym with walking, and it's going to make you shred fat so much easier, get you that nice lean physique. And the second reason it's so good is because it doesn't elevate your cortisol and it doesn't elevate your ghrelin. When you have high cortisol, you're in a stressed state. Your body doesn't want to release fat the same way that it would with typical cardio. Now, it also doesn't make you hungry. If you look at anyone who runs long distance or does intense cardio, they're always hungry. They always want to fill their body with carbs. Whereas when you do steady state cardio, things like incline treadmill, your steps in a day, you aren't going to get hungry and you still burn a massive amount of calories, and it's directly from fat. So that is why, don't be doing excessive cardio, just do zone 2. That's the second thing I am doing or would be doing if I was obese and wanted to get that lean, aesthetic, shredded physique. Now, the third and arguably the most final thing is your food. Your food is the realest needle mover when it comes to building a shredded physique. And it's multifaceted. when I speak about food, because my personal approach is to have as close to a whole 100% whole food diet. And the reason that I say this is because there are benefits beyond just being lean when you eat a whole food diet. You can get lean eating literally anything. Literally anything. You could get lean eating McDonald's, you can get lean eating KFC, you could get lean eating Twinkies. In fact, there was a guy who did this. He dropped a bunch of fat. However, there are trade-offs that you are making when you're eating garbage. Your skin's gonna be shit, your energy is gonna be shit, your fat loss, yeah, you still lose some, but then you'll probably also lose a bit of muscle, right? If you're eating just Twinkies. So your nutrition wants to be dialed in a way that makes the cutting process easier. The other thing is that you don't want to be hungry when you're getting lean. It's just going to make your training performance terrible. It's going to make it more likely for you to fall off the wagon and just start eating crazy and reverse all the work you've done over a few weeks. Because you can literally reverse a few weeks of work in 2 or 3 days. I know this, I've done it. I would diet for like 2 or 3 weeks, lose 2 or 3 kg, and then in 2 or 3 days, I'd sink 15 to 20,000 calories. That's no joke. And many of you guys are in the situation where you make a nice hot streak run, and because you've basically been starving yourself, you end up being, I'm gonna reward myself, and slippery fucking slope. One biscuit turns into a packet, and one, Uber Eats or DoorDash turns into 3 or 4, and then bang, all that progress out the window. But when you eat a whole food, nutrient dense diet, you manage your hormones, right? You manage your cortisol through your food as well. But you manage your hunger. You aren't gonna be constantly hungry. You tell me, right? You eat 6 eggs and you tell me you're gonna be hungry. You just won't. And due to the micronutrients and the high fat profile of something like eggs, you couple it with some carbs, you are going to be pretty well sustained for a period of time. And then what you can do is, by the time you do get hungry, bang, you have your next meal. So my current meal structure at the moment is eggs and fruit and some little bit of carbs in the morning. I go train. By the time I get back, the hunger's just about setting in, and I can push off the hunger for a bit till I'm like really ravenous. And then by that time I'm having my snack, which is 450 grams of Greek yogurt with a banana and some either like granola or sometimes just added fruit, things like dates. I will eat things strategically because I know 450 grams of yogurt, go eat 450 grams of yogurt right now. I promise you, you'll feel very sustained. In fact, you might even struggle to finish it. And for 250 calories, 0% fire yogurt, 0% Greek yogurt, 250 calories, 45 grams of protein, you are going to be full. You are going to be very well sustained. You had a bit of fruit on there, a bit of honey, a bit of granola. You're talking 450 calories, maybe, and you are very well sustained. You're hitting 50 grams of protein. So yeah, sticking to a whole foods diet, that's voluminous, that's nutritionally dense. You're going to feel amazing. Your skin's going to be glowing. Your energy's going to be through the roof. And you're also going to be maintaining muscle because you're high protein. And you're going to be shredding fat because you're not over consuming in calories, right? It's super easy to eat a whole food diet and over consuming calories if you're picking the wrong whole foods. If you're eating nuts and peanut butter and, avocados all day, man, you're going to be way over your calories in a very short period of time. And then for dinner, red meat. You can go pick lean bits of meat. They still have good fat content. You're still going to be nurturing your hormones, but you're going to be getting lean at the same time, right? It's super important to, yes, consume fat, but you don't need to over consume it. I personally go towards a slightly lower carb diet just so I can consume more fats from things like eggs, things like beef, and things like butter. That's personally how I do it, and that's what I'd recommend for most people because the fat's going to keep you satiated. The key thing that you want to focus on with the diet is eating lots of food, right, without having to consume a ton of calories. Making sure that you are sustained throughout the day, because the biggest reason that people mess up on their diet is they starve themselves and then they binge eat. But you can fix that by having good diet, you know, well-timed meals, the right products in your food. And if you are someone who's like, I don't even know what that looks like, I don't know how to do that, book a consultation with me. I am qualified. I help people get into the best shape of their life. I get people lean, I get people attractive, and I'd be happy to have that conversation. Alternatively, you can go on my Instagram, Zaki Thor, Zakithor, and I've got a bunch of content you can scroll. I've got maybe 600 videos you can scroll through that are informational, motivational, educational, all the rest of it. But yeah, you focus on those three things: your training, your steady state cardio, and a voluminous whole food, nutrient dense diet, all in a calorie deficit. You will absolutely get shredded in no time. I give you 3 to 6 months. All of my clients I work with achieve it in 3 to 6 months. They get into fantastic shape. We're talking 15 kilos, that's around 35 pounds. We're talking 20 kilos, that's around 44 pounds. My clients lose weight because they find it easy, and it's all manufactured and manipulated through those three things. It can be complicated if you don't know what you're doing, but it is super simple if you do know what you're doing. But yeah, those three things will get you a lean aesthetic physique. And we don't even need to go into the depths of why having a lean aesthetic physique is important. You can go and check out my other videos or check out my future videos. It is game changing. You want to be lean. And if you don't know how to do that, like I said, book a call with me. It's a bit of a short video today, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. And don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, like I said, go check out my Instagram too.